Gillie the Kid. He's some gangster rapper turned podcaster who recently spoke out on the Shedeur Sanders draft nonsense. And I've been touching on this because, again, it just further highlights how entitled and oblivious and idiotic Negroes are. But I wanted to highlight his particular reaction where he began with saying, certain situations remind you that you're black in America. You should be reminded that this Negro got his son killed not too long ago. Now, why did I say that? Well, as you know, he's a gangster rapper. And usually these types promote that gangster persona not just to other people's children, but to their own children as well. And so when his Negro son, who should have been enjoying the bit of privilege that he had financially, instead he wanted to promote himself as being a gangster rapper just like his daddy. And then he got a fellow young gangster nigga that ended up killing him. And the boy that killed his son ended up getting killed as well. But instead of still being mournful of that and attaching himself to some sort of organization or starting an organization that promotes anti-gangs, anti-violence, because, it had a personal effect on him, including, the death of his own son. Instead of that, he, just like many Negroes like him, but him in particular, decided to add his voice to the peanut gallery of Negroes, acting as if Shedeur Sanders getting selected in the 5th round of the NFL draft after getting his jersey retired and making a bunch of money with the NIL and getting endorsement deals alongside his dad. But he got picked in the 5th round of the NFL draft, and it's one of the biggest travesties that happened in this year. And it's a reminder of racism in America. That's on the top of his mind instead of how he may have contributed to his now dead son. This is just one among the many reasons why these Negroes are subhuman garbage. Because quite frankly, hearing him speak that diatribe, and again, his son has only been dead a little over a year, I believe, or just a year. But this is what he's peddling. He's peddling racism garbage, blaming white people, of course, instead of looking internally and seeing how he may have contributed to the death of his own son, because he promotes gangsterism and violence. I don't know if he's still rapping now, but I can almost guarantee if he is still rapping, he's still rapping about the same kill a nigger, drug dealing bullshit, which created an environment where people like his son want to engage in criminality despite coming from money. Kind of like Carmelo Anthony, despite having a 2-parent household, living around white people, because his parents know living around Negroes is dangerous. And then he ends up killing one of those white people, stabbing him to death in the heart, because that's warranted, according to Negroes, if you tell them to move or if you dare touch them. Meanwhile, Negroes like Gillie the Kid can vocalize their racial hate and animosity even when the worst things that has ever happened to them has been at the hands of other Negroes, to the point where other Negroes kill their sons or daughters. And apparently he's been hanging out with Deion Sanders and family, He was in one of the well-off media videos. So I guess he feels particularly obligated to speak on this situation and make it a race issue. But again, these are the same people that want you to believe Carmelo Anthony stabbing Austin Metcalf to death. Well, we make everything about race, but that particular issue, that wasn't about race at all. As if Carmelo, just like Gillie, and I'm sure Gillie's son, doesn't have blame Whitey running through their minds 24/7, because that's how other Negroes raised them to be and think. And that's how corporate America and this United States government has enabled them to think. But yeah, again, that wouldn't be at the top of my mind if my son got killed a year ago. But I guess the difference between me and him, I would actually care about my son being killed instead of, using it as yet another economical opportunity and a clout opportunity for my career.